Hi, this is Katie with Katie Creations, and today we will be doing a tutorial on how to crochet the Crocodile Dahlia square. Now this square's finished size is 12 inches squared, and it is worked using a 6mm hook and with Red Hearts with Love yarn. So this square's worked a little bit differently, where you start with this outer row of crocodile stitches and you work your way inward, and then you work this top part separately and attach it, and then you come back and you work these outer rows for the edging. So I'll flip it over and show you what it looks like. So here again, this is our first row of crocodile stitching that was worked, and we worked inward, and then we did this white centerpiece last. Now something I did with this is worked it in 3 colors, as you can see, but I carried my color A, or the first color I used, which was my gray color. I think it's technically called pewter, is the color that Red Heart has it called. And I carried this yarn all the way up, so I didn't have to finish it off and tie in all those extra ends with the with my first color. So my other colors, my white and my peacock, I did finish them off after each row, just it wasn't an option to carry those up without having a bit of a mess on the back. So this row you start off working with 123 chain stitches. So go ahead and get those stitches worked up, and I'll see you back whenever you've got them done, and we'll start working on row 1. So here we have 123 crocheted chain stitches. So you're going to start with your row 1, and it says to double crochet in the 4th chain from hook. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to work the double crochet there, and those first 3 chains that you skipped is going to count as your first double crochet. So this is your first double crochet, this is your second double crochet. Okay, and then you're going to chain 1, skip the next 2 stitches, so there's 1 skip, 2 skip, and you're going to work 1 double crochet in the next chain stitch. You're going to chain 1, skip 2 more stitches, 1, 2, work 2 double crochets in the next chain stitch. Alright, and you're going to repeat that 3 more times. Oh, 2 double crochets there. You're going to repeat that 3 more times. So you're going to skip 2, double crochet 1, chain 1, skip 2, 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So go ahead and work that 3 more times, and I'll see you guys back when you get that repeat done. So here I've done my 3 additional repeats. This is our skip 3, double crochet in the 4th chain from hook, chain 1, skip 2 stitches, double crochet, chain 1, skip 2 more stitches, 2 double crochet, and I've repeated that 3 more times. So there's 1, 2, 3, ending here. Now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to chain 1 and skip the next 5 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're going to work 2 double crochet in the next stitch. So that's 5, so number 6. Now if you want to, you can put a stitch marker here in this corner. This will help you keep track of where it is located, and this is going to be your corner. So this is what helps us turn the pattern. So it's this location right here. So we just worked this like this, and this is this corner here. Okay? That's what it'll look like on the back. So you can see there was skipped stitches right there. Alright, so back to this. Alright, so you're going to work 2 double crochets in that stitch. And then you're going to continue doing the repeat that we did here an additional 4 times. So you're going to do it 1, 2, 3, 4 down to the next corner. So go ahead and continue working that repeat around, and I'll see you when you get to the end of your chain. Alright, at this point you should have worked your way around the chain, and I have my chain 5s that I skipped marked, so that way I can keep track as to where my corners are, with the exception of this last chain 5, which you will join where you worked your first double crochet, and that will complete the circle and make your 4th corner. However, that is not something I'm going to be working in until I get to my edging, so right now I'm just going to let it hang and I'm not going to worry about it. So we're going to chain 1, and then you guys are going to join in the top of the first double crochet, which is actually the chain 3 that you skipped, and then you're going to pull up a loop and pick up your next color. So you chain 1, pull up your loop, and then we're going to get your next color. This color that you're grabbing now is going to be the first row of crocodile stitches. So I've got my peacock blue that I worked here. So whatever color you're wanting to be that most outer row, grab that one now. And I'm actually going to be working with papaya, the color that I showed you at the very beginning. Okay, so I'm going to pull up this loop and I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to cut that off because I can carry that up the back of my work, so that way I have fewer ends to deal with. And on this next row, row 2, you're going to have your right side facing you. So this is what I consider to be the right side. How my chains are facing me a bit more than if they were on this side. You can't really see the chain too much. So this is what I'm considering my right side. And if you manage to get it twisted, just stick with it. It won't make a big difference because you won't see this row. Okay. So you're going to join in the top of any first double crochet that was worked after a corner. So I could join in this one, or this one, and likewise around this one or this one. So I'm going to go and just join in this one because this is where my work happens to be. So I'm just going to join that with a slip stitch. And then I'm going to work around my V stitch here, my 2 double crochet for my crocodile stitch. Now this is a traditional crocodile stitch with the exception that I do a peacock in between my 2 sets of 5 double crochets. So I'm going to work my 5 double crochet, and then I'm going to work a peacock. So I'm going to chain 3, 2, 3, and then I'm going to work into that first chain, pull up a loop, and pull through, and then find the other side of my, oh, there we go. Find my other double crochet. I'm going to work 5 more double crochet in the other double crochet that was worked whenever you work 2 double crochets in the same stitch. It's 4 and 5. So there we have it. We've completed our first crocodile stitch. And you're going to come over to your next single worked double crochet and you're going to slip stitch in it. Okay. Now you're going to do the same thing in this square. You're going to work 5 double crochet, a peacock, 5 double crochet. Okay, so you chain 3. And if you're not sure how I'm working the peacock, there is a tutorial linked in the pattern above. Okay, so I'm going to work my other 5 here, and you can just follow that tutorial. And I believe there are actually 2 different ways that are shown to work the peacock. 3, 4, 5. Then I'm going to slip stitch into that next single worked double crochet. Alright, so now we have 2. Alright, so go ahead and complete and work in this square, the crocodile stitch. You're going to slip stitch here, and then you're going to work a crocodile stitch again in this one, and you're going to slip stitch in this chain 1 space. Just work around your loop and the yarn that you have pulled up here, and just slip stitch around there. Okay? And then you're going to work your crocodile stitch in this square. In these 2 stitches. So this acts as your first double crochet, so you're going to work 5 double crochet in here, your peacock, 5 double crochet in here, slip stitch in this one. Okay, you're going to continue to work that around, and I'll see you when you get back after you've completed the rest of this row. So here we have finished our first row of crocodile stitches. This is where my last crocodile stitch was worked, and I joined in that first double crochet that I joined in to work that row. I finished off, making sure I left plenty of tail to tie in my ends later on. So from here we are going to go on to the next row, which is row 3, and I'm going to pick up where I dropped my first color, because I didn't want to finish off, so I didn't have to deal with all those extra ends. So I'm going to pull that back up, and I'm going to turn. Now I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch here. So that would be this stitch, and then I'm going to slip stitch in the space between the 2 sets of 5 double crochet. So I'm going to slip stitch in here, and then I'm going to slip stitch in the next stitch, so that would be here, and then I'm going to slip stitch in the top of that first double crochet right here, and then I'm going to chain 3, and that chain 3 will count as my first double crochet. Alright, so let's go ahead and work that. So slip stitch here, slip stitch here, that's our third one. We're going to do one more slip stitch, right? This is what it looks like on the front. So from there I'm going to chain 3, so there's 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to double crochet back in that same double crochet that we worked our last slip stitch in. I'm going to chain 1, double crochet in that space in between where my 2 sets of 5 double crochet were worked, chain 1, 2 double crochet in this single double crochet, okay, you're going to continue chain 1, continue working that across. So this is what the front will look like. So here's my corner here where I'm going to be reducing. So I'm going to continue working that around. Okay, so your corner's here. So you're going to You got your 2 double crochet there, 1 double crochet. You're going to chain 1, work 2 double crochet, chain 1, work 1 double crochet. Then you're going to chain 1 and work 2 double crochet, chain 1. You're going to skip this space and this space and this space, and your next stitch will be worked in this double crochet. So you're going to work 2, 1, 2, 1. I'm sorry. So you're going to work 2, 1, 2, chain 1. You're going to skip this one, that space right there, this one, and your next stitch will be 2 double crochet worked in this single double crochet, and that will help create your corner space by skipping these 3 stitch locations. So go ahead and work, and we'll pick back up whenever we get to that spot. Okay, so here you have finished working around your first corner, creating that space. So whenever you work this corner on your next row, you're going to work your crocodile picot stitch here, and then you're going to slip stitch into this chain 1 space, as opposed to working in a double crochet like you traditionally do. That is what's going to help keep the get the square to rotate and form a square. So you will slip stitch there and then work a picot crocodile stitch in the next stitch location. Alright, so we're going to continue working this around. Remember, whenever you get to this next corner, you're going to work 2 double crochet. You're going to chain 1 and skip this stitch location, this stitch location, this stitch location, and work 2 double crochet here. And then you'll continue working around, and I'll see you when you get back here. To finish off, you're going to work your 2 double crochet in this stitch location, chain 1, and join in the top of the chain 3. You will not finish off unless you really like tying in ends. I'll see you when you get that row finished. So here we have worked our 3rd row all the way around, and I've joined in this top of the 3rd chain with a slip stitch. So this is my wrong side. So remember, whenever you go to work this next row, whenever you get to a corner, you're going to work your crocodile stitch here, slip stitch, and work a crocodile stitch. So crocodile stitch, slip stitch, crocodile stitch. So go ahead and grab your next color, and I am using eggshell. So you got your right side facing, and you're going to join with a slip stitch in a corner. So I'm going to go ahead and just start here at this corner. I'm going to join with a slip stitch. I'm going to yarn over and start my crocodile stitches. So you do 5 crocodile stitches, picot, 5 crocodile stitches. Okay. There we go. Alright, so now I'm going to slip stitch in my, or chain, nope, no chain 1. Just going to slip stitch into the top of my double crochet and work my next crocodile stitch here. So this is what we have so far. So I'm going to slip stitch in here. I'm going to work a crocodile stitch here, slip stitch. This is where I've joined. I don't want to finish that off because I don't like tying in ends. So I'm going to work my crocodile stitch here and just keep this yarn out of my way. Slip stitch here, crocodile stitch here. So you're going to continue that around, and I'll see you when you get back here. Again, we're going to join here. You'll join with a slip stitch in the chain one space, so there actually will be 2 slip stitches in here, one from the joining to start and one to join to finish. And you're going to finish off your yarn, and then we'll flip over and we'll get working on the next row of gray. So here we have finished our second row of crocodile stitches, and as you notice, with each row you're actually decreasing by 1 crocodile stitch. So this is the row that we just worked, the second row, crocodile stitches. So you have 5, 4, you go down to 3, 2, and 1. So if you're not decreasing with each row of crocodile stitches, you need to look and see what's happened, because you need to make sure that that is what is going on. So from here you're going to work another row with the wrong side facing. So pull up the yarn that you haven't finished off. See if I can zoom in a bit here. Alright, and I'm going to work 4 slip stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then chain 3. And this pattern from here till you get to the end is just going to continue repeating with these rows. There is no additional stitches that occur to finish out the crocodile peacock portion of this pattern. Counts as your first double crochet back in that same stitch, chain 1, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 1, oh, sorry, that's supposed to be 1 double crochet. So that's 1 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. Chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. So as you get going with each row, the rows will actually go by much quicker because you're reducing each row, each round is reduced by 4 crocodile stitches, which take a bit of time to work up. Okay, so here I am at my corner. So I'm going to chain 1 and skip 1, 2, 3 stitches, and my next stitch will be worked here in this single double crochet, and I will work 2 double crochet there. So chain 1, so I'm skipping 1, 2, 3. Goodness, it's really gotten bright in here, I'm sorry. Colors are washing out. Alright, and there we've reduced down for our next row. So continue working these rows around, and once you have completed all these rows of crocodile stitches, your last row will be a crocodile stitch that gets worked, and you'll end up with a hole in the center, this hole. So that is the purpose of crocheting this top part. If you don't like it, you don't have to include it, but I did not like the way the hole looked, so I crocheted this top part. And it's not a crocodile stitch, it's a combination of half double crochet and double crochet to get that look, and a peacock at the top to keep the peacock points going. And then I simply stitched it on there. And then to work my edging rows, I joined in that chain stitch that we worked at the very beginning, that 123 chains. That's where these stitches are worked. So that's how you do it. Thank you for watching the tutorial. Can't wait to see all these beautiful squares.